There are nights when the weight in your chest doesn't have a name. When you lie down not because you're tired, but because you've run out of ways to carry the heaviness. Nights when silence isn't peaceful, it's deafening. You've asked, you've waited, you've wept, and still it feels like heaven is holding its breath. But tonight you are not alone. You are not forgotten in this quiet moment, not abandoned in this ache. There's a reason your soul still longs. A reason the ache has never numbed completely, because deep in your spirit there is something God planted, a whisper that still dares to believe that even in this moment, God is still moving, that this might be the night He draws near again. So breathe. Let the noise begin to fade. Not just the sounds outside your window, but the noise in your thoughts, the spiraling doubts, the endless questions, the what-ifs you've rehearsed, until your chest grew tight. Let it go. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to enter a sacred meeting with the one who saw this very night long before it came. The one who has not missed a single tear. The one who records even your sighs as prayers. The one who knows you, really knows you, and loves you still. God is here. Not in theory, not in far-off mystery, but right here, in this room, nearer than your breath. Lord, I come to you with empty hands and an open heart. Not because I've figured anything out, but because I've reached the end of my own strength. I've exhausted my solution. I've whispered prayers in the dark that never made it into words, and still, somehow, I believe you hear me. I'm not here to impress you with eloquence. I don't need the right words. I just need you. Tonight, God, I don't ask you to fix everything. I ask you to sit with me in the unknown. Be my peace while the answers wait. Be my guide when the path disappears. Be my anchor when my thoughts drift too far from truth. Because you are not a distant God. You're not waiting for me to clean myself up or come to some deeper revelation. You're here because you love, because you always have. Even when I doubted you. Even when I tried to fill the silence on my own. Even when I walked away out of fear that you weren't listening. Still, you stayed. Still, you whispered. Still, you reached for me in the quiet moments when I finally stopped trying to manage it all. Like now. Jeremiah 29:13 says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." So here I am, God. Not with performance, not with perfection, but with honesty, with all my heart. As it is, messy, uncertain, vulnerable. Meet me here. Speak to the parts of me that I've silenced, the parts I've labeled as too much or not enough. Remind me that I don't have to pretend with you, that you know the thoughts that never leave my head, the ones I can't even admit out loud. You know the pressure I carry, the things that wake me up at 2 a.m., the way I measure my worth against what hasn't worked out, the days I feel like a failure before I even get out of bed, and still, you call me loved. Still, you call me yours. So tonight, I choose to surrender, not just in words, but in the letting go, the loosening of my grip on outcomes, the release of the weight that was never mine to. You said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I've tried so many other things, but none of them gave me rest like you can. So I bring my burdens one by one, and I lay them at your feet. The fear that I'm not enough, the shame that whispers I'm too late, the grief I've carried longer than anyone knows, the dreams I've quietly buried out of disappointment, the questions that still don't have answers, the loneliness that lingers even in crowded rooms, the weariness of always being the strong one, the silent prayer for a breakthrough that feels overdue. I give it all to you, God. You're not afraid of my mess. You're not overwhelmed by my need. You aren't surprised by my pain. You already saw every tear before it formed. And still, you call me close. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the broken-hearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit." So I don't have to hold it all together. I don't have to pretend to be okay. I can be broken and still be held. I can be weary and still be loved. I can be uncertain and still be covered by your grace. You are not watching from a distance. You are kneeling beside me. You are whispering peace into the parts of me that still flinch from hope. You're reminding me that surrender isn't failure, it's trust. That letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means giving you room to work. I don't need to strive anymore. I don't need to earn what you've already given freely. Your love is not based on performance. Your peace is not a reward. It's a gift. And tonight, I receive it. I open my heart to you, Lord. Speak to me in ways I can hear. Calm the noise long enough for me to recognize your voice again. If you need to speak through silence, I will wait with patience. If you answer in a whisper, I will lean in closer. If your answer is wait, I will choose to wait with hope. But if you want to speak right now, I'm listening. Open the ears of my heart. Open the eyes of my soul. Remind me that you still speak through your word, through stillness, through dreams, through impressions, through peace that doesn't make sense. You still speak in ways that reach past logic, past fear, past doubt, and you still choose to speak to me. I don't need fireworks. I just need you. I don't need a miracle. I need your presence. I don't need a guarantee. I need your hand holding mine through the unknown. So lead me, even if I don't see the full path. Guide me, even if the next step feels uncertain. You are faithful. You've always been faithful, even when the answers were delayed, even when the healing didn't come in the way I expected, even when I thought you were silent. You were working behind the scenes. You were preparing. You were protecting. You were providing in ways I couldn't yet see. Tonight, help me believe that again. Help me trust that if it hasn't happened yet, it's not because you've forgotten. It's because you're still working, because you care more about my heart than my timeline. I don't want answers that come at the expense of intimacy with you. I don't want miracles if they pull me away from the miracle worker. What I want, what I truly need is you. Be my portion tonight. Be my answer tonight. Be the voice that calms my questions and the presence that anchors my soul. As I lie here, let my body rest and my spirit rise. Let my dreams be filled with your whispers. Let your word be the last sound my heart hears before sleep. I lay my head not on a pillow but on a promise. The promise that you never leave, that you never grow tired, that you never run out of mercy for me. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the stars. Your compassion is new with every sunrise. And tonight I believe again. I believe you hear me. I believe you love me. I believe you are near. So I release what I cannot control. I surrender what I do not understand. And I trust you with what I cannot fix. You are God, and you are good. That is enough for this night. There's something sacred about this stillness, Lord. A kind of quiet that can only be found at night, when the world stops moving and every voice fades except yours. It's here, in this silence, that I remember how fragile I really am, and how faithful you've always been. I don't know why it's so easy to forget that. Maybe it's the pace of life or the pressure to always be okay. Maybe it's the noise of everyone else's expectation. Or maybe it's just the fear I haven't wanted to name. The fear that if I'm honest about how tired I am, you might grow tired of me too. But you never do. You never turn away from weakness. You never roll your eyes at my need. You don't get bored when I bring the same prayer again and again. You don't require a perfect offering. You just ask for a willing heart. So here I am, not because I've earned an audience with you, but because you already tore the veil, because you made a way for me to walk straight into the throne room, barefoot and broken, and still be welcomed with open arms. You're not keeping score, you're keeping me. You're not waiting for me to prove I trust you. You're gently inviting me to trust you more. Even now, God, I feel you calling me to let go a little deeper, not just of the things I know I can't control, but even the things I pretend I can. The subtle ways I've tried to take your role, the worries I've dressed up as strategy, the habits I've justified in the name of self-preservation. I've built walls to protect my heart, but all they've done is keep your peace out. So tear them down tonight, brick by brick, fear by fear, lie by lie, because I don't want safety if it costs me intimacy with you. I don't want predictability if it keeps me from experiencing your power. I don't want control if it numbs my need for your voice. You've never asked me to understand everything. You've asked me to trust you with the things I don't. Proverbs 3 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." I've leaned on my understanding for too long, Lord. It's only made me tired, anxious, restless. I want to lean on you now. Not with caution, but completely. Not with backup plans, but with open hands. Not with conditions, but with childlike surrender. Because you are not a God who drops what he holds. You are not a God who starts something and walks away. You finish what you begin. You perfect what you plant. You protect what you call, and you have called me by name. You don't see me as a burden. You see me as beloved. You don't see my faith as fragile. You see it as precious. You don't need me to impress you. You just want me to rest in you. So I'm laying down the performance, the pretense, the pressure to always get it right. Let tonight be the night I stop pretending and start abiding. Let tonight be the night I stop striving and start resting. Let tonight be the night I stop doubting whether you hear me and start remembering that you've always been near. Even when I didn't feel it, even when I couldn't see it, even when I thought you had gone quiet, you never left. You never stopped moving. You never stopped weaving goodness into even the pieces that didn't make sense. Because you are not just good when the outcome is what I hoped for. You are good because you are God, and that truth doesn't change with my circumstances. So steady my heart, Father. Quiet the questions that clamor for attention. Drown out the voices that contradict your word. Let me hear what you say over me tonight. That I am loved, that I am chosen, that I am not forgotten, that I am held, that I am known, that I am safe, that I am covered, that I am seen, that I am not alone. You've always spoken identity over me before you spoke instruction. You've always named me before you've sent me. So name me again tonight. Remind me who I am, not based on failure or success, but based on who you are. Remind me that my worth isn't measured by how quickly I heal, how much I accomplish, or how eloquently I pray. My worth is anchored in your love, secured by the blood of Jesus, sealed by the Spirit who whispers, "You are mine." And that is enough. Enough for the uncertainty ahead. Enough for the regrets behind. Enough for the questions that still linger. Enough for the grief I haven't fully processed. Enough for the future I don't yet understand. I don't need all the answers tonight. I just need to be close to the answer. You are my portion, my peace, my shepherd, my rock, my refuge, my friend, my Father. And because you are all those things, I can lie here in full surrender. I don't have to brace for impact. I don't have to rehearse what I'll say if you don't come through. I don't have to protect myself from disappointment. Because you've never failed me. Not once. Not ever. Even in the seasons that felt like loss. You were winning something in me. Even in the moments when doors closed, you were guiding me to something better. Even in the silence, you were singing over me. Your word says in Zephaniah 3:17, "The Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will rejoice over you with singing." I don't know what that song sounds like, but tonight, I want to believe you're still singing, that heaven still celebrates my existence, that angels still surround me, even when I feel alone, that the God who holds the stars also holds my tomorrow. So I rest, not because the battle is over, but because I no longer have to fight alone, not because everything is fixed, but because I trust the one who holds the pieces, not because I'm strong, but because your strength is made perfect in my weakness. Teach me to breathe deeply tonight, not just air but truth. Let every inhale be filled with peace, and every exhale be a release of things that no longer serve me. Teach me to be present here in this sacred stillness, not racing ahead, not stuck in the past, but resting in this holy now. Let your presence wrap around me like a blanket. Let your word be the lullaby that lulls my soul into rest. Let your promises be the rhythm that slows my heartbeat and quiets my mind. You are not asking me to solve anything tonight. You're simply asking me to stay with you, to linger, to believe that being here in your presence is more powerful than doing anything on my own. So I stay when it's tempting to numb. I stay when it's easier to scroll. I stay when the stillness feels awkward. Because I want to know you more than I want to escape. I want to hear you more than I want distractions. I want to be with you more than I want resolution. And so I whisper again, "Speak, Lord. I'm listening." If you want to answer with peace, I'll receive it. If you want to speak through sleep, I'm open. If you want to hold me in silence, I'll remain still. Because sometimes the most powerful prayers aren't loud. They're surrendered. Sometimes the answers don't come in words, but in wonder. And sometimes the breakthrough starts with breathing. So I breathe now, with you, for you. And I remember, I am not forgotten. There is something quiet tonight that feels more than silence. It isn't emptiness. It isn't absence. It's something softer, deeper, a kind of presence that doesn't need to announce itself, a kind of nearness that breathes instead of speaks. Maybe that's you, Lord. Maybe that's always been you. All the times I thought you were distant. Maybe you were just being gentle, not forcing, not shouting, just waiting for me to stop long enough to feel you again. And I feel you now. It's not dramatic. It's not overwhelming. But it's real. It's the kind of real that makes the burden in my chest ease just enough to breathe. The kind that lifts the edge of the heaviness, even if just for a moment. And in that moment, I remember, I'm not holding this alone. Thank you, God. Thank you for not needing me to be loud to hear me. Thank you for showing up in the stillness, not just the miracles. Thank you for being the God who notices even the tears that never fall, the ones that collect behind the eyes but never make it to the surface. You see it all. Every moment I've second-guessed myself, every question I've kept buried because I didn't want to seem faithless, every cry I've whispered into my pillow, not wanting anyone to know how close I was to breaking. And yet here you are, unafraid of my unraveling. You're not impatient with my processing. You don't recoil from my rawness. You welcome it, because you know that honesty is the beginning of healing. You know that confession is the doorway to closeness. So tonight, I won't hold anything back. I won't package my prayers in perfect phrases. I won't edit my emotions before bringing them to you. I'll come exactly as I am, tired, tender, hopeful, hesitant, and trust that you'll meet me in the middle. I trust that you'll make something holy out of this fragile offering, because that's who you are. You've always been the God who meets people in the wilderness, in the caves, in the storms, on the floor in their weakest moments. You're not waiting for the finish line. You're walking with me in the middle of the race, sometimes carrying me, sometimes just sitting with me while I rest. And tonight, I just want to rest, not because I'm giving up, but because I'm giving it to you. You said, "Be still and know that I am God." Not try harder and know, not fix everything and know. Just be still. Still in the waiting. Still in the questions. Still in the surrender. So I breathe in stillness now, not as an escape, but as a sacred act of trust. Let this stillness preach louder than my striving. Let this moment of silence say what words cannot. Let it remind me that you're not only with me when I'm praying, you're with me when I'm sleeping, when I'm breathing, when I'm simply being. That's grace. That's what grace feels like when it lands. Not weight but relief. Not more to do but permission to stop. To rest. To know that you are God and I am not. You hold what I cannot. You control what I never could. You redeem what I thought was lost. You restore what time tried to steal. You are not bound by my limitations. You are not intimidated by my confusion. You are not delayed by what delays me. And even now, you are working. Even now you are moving. Even now, you are reaching places in me that I didn't know needed healing. Uncovering beliefs that weren't from you. Breaking agreements I made with fear. Rewriting the story I've been telling myself about who I am and what I'm worth. Because I am not what happened to me. I am not the closed door. I am not the silence of others. I am not the failure I've feared. I am who you say I am, and you say I am loved, chosen, set apart, held, forgiven, anointed, seen, secured. That truth anchors me tonight. It grounds me in a peace that surpasses understanding. It steadies me when everything else feels unstable. Your truth is my compass. Your presence is my covering. Your word is my refuge. I run to it now, not in panic, but in pursuit of peace. Psalm 91 says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." That's what I want tonight. Not just a place to sleep, but a shelter for my soul, a shadow to rest beneath, a nearness that quiets everything else. Cover me, Lord, not just physically but emotionally. Cover my mind, the part that overthinks and replays and rehearses every worst-case scenario. Cover my heart, the part that still feels bruised from unanswered prayers or broken trust. Cover my spirit, the part that still wonders if I'm doing enough, praying enough, believing enough. Let your covering silence the noise. Let it muffle the doubts. Let it soften the sharpness of grief that still lingers in the background of my joy. I know you see all of it, Lord. The mixture of hope and fear, the collision of gratitude and grief, the strange dance of faith and fatigue. And I know you hold space for both. You're not asking me to pick one or pretend away the other. You're just asking me to bring it all, to sit with you in the in-between, to trust that you are working even when I feel nothing, even when I hear nothing, even when all I have is a flicker of faith, barely enough to whisper your name. Jesus, that's all I have tonight. But maybe that's all I've ever needed. There's power in that name, peace in that name, healing in that name, rest in that name. So I call it again, not because you forgot me, but because I need to remember you. Jesus, you are my calm in the chaos, my anchor in the uncertainty, my shepherd when I feel lost, my healer when I am hurting, my savior when I've wandered too far. You've always come for me, even when I didn't know how to reach for you. You've always found me in the shadows, not to scold but to rescue, to remind me that no darkness can hide me from your love, no shame can keep you away, no silence can stop you from speaking peace into my soul. So speak now, Jesus, in whatever way you choose, through dreams, through scripture, through rest, through the breath of your spirit, through the stillness that settles deep within. Let my soul lean into you until it no longer needs answers to be at peace. Let my heart believe again, not in the perfect outcome, but in the perfect love that casts out fear. And if I wake in the night, let your name be the first one I whisper. Not because I need to ask for more, but because I want to draw near, just to be with you, to abide, to remain, to trust that even the dark hours are sacred when you are near. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds me, and in that, I find rest. There's a peace that doesn't come from things working out, a quiet that isn't the absence of sound, but the presence of someone holy. That's what I feel as I rest here now, not certainty, not resolution, but something far better, the nearness of you, Lord. You are here. Not because I earned it, not because I found the right words, but because that's who you are, Emmanuel, God with us, God with me. Here in the room that's dim and still, here in the questions that never got answered, here in the space between prayer and fulfillment. You are here, and in your presence, I don't need to strive. I don't need to figure anything out. I don't need to fix what I've broken or explain what I feel. Because you already know. You know what I've tried to forget. You know what I've been afraid to name. You know the memories that still echo when the lights go off and the world falls silent. You know the heaviness I carry in places no one sees. And still, you draw near. You draw near, not to shame but to shelter. Not to demand answers, but to be the answer. Not to ask for performance, but to offer peace. That's who you are. Gentle, faithful, patient, kind. Not once have you rushed me. Not once have you rolled your eyes at my weakness. Not once have you walked away when I didn't understand. You've just stayed right here, steady, close, safe. Tonight I need to feel that again. Not because you ever left, but because sometimes my fears grow louder than my faith. So calm the noise, Lord. Quiet the thoughts that spin in circles. Silence the accusations that sound like truth, but smell like fear. I don't want to agree with fear anymore. I don't want to build my beliefs on what hurt me. I want to be anchored in what you said, not what the enemy whispered when I was weary. Your word is true. Your timing is perfect. Your heart is good. Even when I don't see the full picture, I know you do. Isaiah 55 reminds me that your ways are higher than mine, your thoughts far beyond what I can comprehend. So why do I try to make sense of things only you can see? Tonight I release the need to understand, not because understanding isn't important, but because peace is better. And I trust you more than I trust clarity. Give me the kind of faith that rests without answers, the kind of faith that worships without resolution, the kind of faith that waits without anxiety. I'm learning that waiting is not passive. It's powerful. It's a sacred declaration that you are worth trusting, even in the unseen, even when the days stretch long and the nights feel endless. So I wait with expectation, not for a specific outcome, but for you. You've never disappointed those who wait on you. Maybe not always in the way they expected, but always in the way they needed. You always show up. Sometimes in a whisper, sometimes in a breeze, sometimes in the quiet confidence that I am not alone. And tonight I wait, not for the door to open, not for the answer to come, not for the pain to end. I wait for your presence to fill this room again, soft and holy and full of peace. I feel it now, like a warmth I didn't notice at first, like a weight gently lifted. Not all at once, not dramatic, but real and enough. Because I don't need everything to change overnight. I just need you here, walking with me through the process, showing me how to breathe in the middle of becoming, teaching me how to trust in the middle of transition, holding me through the nights that feel too long. You know how to carry me when I've stopped knowing how to walk. You know how to lead me when my compass feels broken. You know how to speak even when all I have left is a whisper. And I whisper again. I trust you. Even when it's shaky. Even when my mind still wrestles with what if. Even when my faith is more fragile than bold. I trust you. Because you've never left me in the dark. You've always been the light that finds me. Even when I didn't recognize it. Even when I tried to numb the ache. Even when I convinced myself you had gone quiet. You never did. You just waited for me to come back to this stillness. This space where you and I meet with no pretense. No performance. Just presence. This is the altar now. This room. This night. This silence. And I bring my offering. Not perfect words, but an open heart. Not grand declarations, but honest surrender. Not a spotless record, but a willing spirit. You don't need more than that. You never have. Because you delight in drawing close to the humble. You answer the desperate. You honor the broken-hearted. You lift up those bowed low in quiet surrender. I bow now, not in shame, but in reverence. Not in fear, but in love. Because the more I see you, the more I'm undone by your kindness. You are not the God I feared growing up, the one who kept score and waited to punish mistakes. You are the Father who runs toward prodigals, the shepherd who leaves the 99, the healer who weeps before he resurrects, the Savior who washes feet before he takes up the cross. You are everything I never knew I needed, everything I tried to find elsewhere, everything my soul was made for. And tonight, I stop running. I stop resisting. I stop doubting that you'd really come for someone like me. You already did. You already do. Every time I cry out, every time I reach for you in the dark, every time I whisper, God, I don't know what to pray, and you meet me there with grace. I don't have to perform to be loved. I don't have to earn what you already died to give me. So I receive it again. Your mercy, your nearness, your peace, your covering. Cover my sleep, God. Cover the places in my heart I don't even know are hurting. Cover the dreams I've been too afraid to dream again. Cover the questions I've been too scared to ask. Cover my mind, my body, my spirit. Let this rest be holy. Let this night be sacred. Let this sleep be deep. Not just for my body but for my soul. Psalm 4:8 says, In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. So I do. I lie down not in fear but in peace. I sleep not in escape, but in faith, because I trust you with my night and with my life. There's a kind of exhaustion that isn't physical. It settles deeper than sore muscles or heavy eyelids. It's the tiredness of the soul when your heart has carried more than it was meant to bear, and your spirit feels stretched so thin that even hope begins to whisper more quietly than before. And yet here I am, still whispering, still coming back to you, still believing, even if barely, that you hear this silence as clearly as any song. Lord, this night feels like a pause, a breath between chapters, a space where nothing is finished, but nothing is lost either. Just stillness, just surrender, just me and you in the quiet, and that's enough. I don't need answers tonight. I need alignment. Not outcomes, but presence. Not clarity for every step ahead, but peace for where I stand now. Because you've taught me that sometimes the most powerful prayer is, I don't know, but I trust you. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know how this will work out. I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes, but I trust you. Because every time I've tried to hold the pen and write my own story, I've found myself more anxious than anchored. Every time I've forced doors open, they've cost me more than I gain. But when I've waited, when I've surrendered, when I've let you be God and rested in that, peace came like a river. So let it come now. Wash over me, Lord, over every part of me that still wants to take control, over the fears that tighten my chest, over the thoughts that refuse to quiet themselves. Let your peace speak louder than my logic. Let it flood every room of my heart until there is no place fear can remain. You promised you would keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you, so I stay my mind on you now, not on what I lack, not on what I can't solve, not on who hurt me, not on what didn't go my way, but on you. Your constancy, your kindness, your compassion, your faithfulness. You have never failed me. Not one. Even when it looked like failure, you were protecting me from something I couldn't see. Even when it felt like abandonment, you were realigning me with your will. Even when it seemed like silence, you were teaching me to recognize your voice in the quiet. You are never absent. You are never late. You are never out of reach. You are never unloving. Even when everything around me is changing, you remain the same, steady, sovereign, safe. So I breathe in now, and let that be enough. This breath, this moment, this stillness, I don't have to earn this peace, I just have to receive it. You are not a God who rewards striving, you are a Father who blesses surrender. So I surrender again tonight, my timeline, my expectations, my understanding, my regrets, my control, all of it, yours, not because I've figured it all out, but because I believe you never asked me to. You simply asked me to trust, and tonight I do, not with flawless faith, not with loud declarations, but with a quiet heart that's tired of wrestling and ready to rest. I rest in your ability, not mine. I rest in your wisdom, not my limited view. I rest in your goodness, not my circumstances. I rest in the truth that you are already in my tomorrow, already working, already healing, already arranging what I can't even imagine. And because of that, I don't have to fear what's next. I don't have to fix what's broken before I can rest. I don't have to pretend I'm okay. I just have to be with you, be still with you, be honest with you, and let you be enough, because you are enough. Enough for my anxious heart, enough for my fragile faith, enough for every unanswered prayer. You are enough when I don't feel strong, when I don't feel spiritual, when I don't feel worthy. You never asked me to feel my way into grace. You just asked me to receive it, and I do. Tonight, I receive your grace. Like oxygen, I let it fill the hollow spaces. I let it soften the hardness I didn't even know had formed. I let it remind me that I don't have to be perfect to be protected. I just have to be present with you, and you will do the rest. You always do. So cover my mind, Lord, the part that replays old pain, the part that plans conversations that will never happen, the part that worries itself to exhaustion. Let the same hand that carved galaxies be the hand that settles me now. Let your word replace the lies. Let your voice replace the noise. Let your truth replace the torment. Let your spirit lead me into rest. Not just sleep, but soul rest. The kind that heals me while I lie still. The kind that repairs what I didn't even know was broken. The kind that reminds me I don't have to do anything tonight, except be loved, because I am unquestionably, irrevocably, fully loved. Not the version of me I want to be, not the me that performs well, not the me that says the right things, but this me, the one lying in bed, whispering prayers that barely have words, the one whose strength ran out long before the day ended, the one who wonders if she's too much or not enough, depending on the moment. This is the version you love, and you don't just love me. You like me, you enjoy me, you choose me. You don't just tolerate my presence, you treasure it. That's hard to comprehend, but tonight, I choose to believe it. Even if it takes time to feel true, even if my past tries to argue, even if shame tries to whisper otherwise, I choose to believe what you say over what I feel, because feelings are fleeting. But your truth is eternal. You said I am yours. You said I am forgiven. You said I am a new creation. You said I am more than a conqueror. You said I am never alone. You said nothing can separate me from your love. So tonight, I lay my head on those promises. I fall asleep on those truths, and I trust that even in my dreams, you are speaking. You are healing. You are restoring. you are giving clarity. Even while I sleep, you are at work in ways I cannot see, because you never slumber, you never sleep, and you never stop being good. So let me rest in the rhythm of your faithfulness. Let every breath I take be a reminder that I'm held. Let every heartbeat be an echo of your mercy. Let every hour of rest draw me deeper into intimacy with you, not because I earned it, but because you delight to give it. You are my resting place. You are my refuge. You are my reminder that I don't have to have it all figured out to be loved completely. So I exhale now, all the trying, all the fixing, all the fear, and I breathe in peace, because tonight I remember again, you are here, you are enough, and I am safe. It's only in the quiet that I remember how loud the world has been. All day, the noise filled every corner, expectations, responsibilities, distractions dressed up as priorities. But now, it's just me and oh. No more voices, no more timelines, no more pretending. Just presence, just peace, just this moment, where nothing has to be solved, and everything can be surrendered. God, I didn't realize how much I was bracing, how much I was holding my breath, not physically, but in my soul, bracing for disappointment, bracing for silence, bracing for something to go wrong before it could ever go right. And yet here you are, steady, still, safe. You are not like the world. You are not like the ones who left. You are not unpredictable, unstable, or unsafe. You are good, always good. Even when I've been too tired to pray, even when I've tried to fix things without you, even when I've assumed you were far, just because I couldn't feel you close. You've never left me, not once. You are here now, not because I proved myself worthy, but because you never stopped loving me. So I release it all, Lord. The assumptions I made about you based on the pain others caused, the lies I picked up and believed because they sounded louder than your truth, the fear that I had to earn my place with you when you already paid for it in full. Tonight, I return, not to a system, not to a structure, but to a Savior. I return to you, gentle, kind, slow to anger, and rich in love. You said in Isaiah 30:15, in repentance and rest is your salvation, in quietness and trust is your strength. So here I am, quiet, trusting, not begging, not bargaining, just resting, because I know now, the strength I've been looking for isn't in pushing through, it's in being still with you. So be near, God. Not because I need a sign, but because I need you. Not because I'm scared of the dark, but because I long for the light. Not because I need a miracle tonight, but because I need mercy, fresh, quiet mercy to wash over me like rain. Let it fall. Let it soften what's been hardened in me. Let it reach the parts I've hidden behind performance. Let it settle in the places where I've tried too hard and rested too little. Because you didn't create me to live in survival mode. You didn't breathe life into me so I could spend every day chasing approval and every night collapsing under the weight of fear. You called me to abide, to walk with you, not run ahead of you, to trust, not to strain, to dwell in your house, not visit when things fall apart. So tonight I draw close, not to receive a breakthrough but to become one. Not to chase your hand, but to know your heart. Not to demand answers, but to dwell in your presence. And here, in the quiet, I remember, you are not slow, you are not uncertain, you are not cold. You are the God who speaks in fire and in whisper, in storms and in stillness, in burning bushes and sleepless nights. So speak now, Lord, not in a way that shakes the room, but in a way that stills my soul. Even a whisper from you would be enough. Whisper that I'm not behind. Whisper that you're not disappointed. Whisper that what you began, you will finish. Whisper that it's okay to breathe. that I don't have to hustle to stay in your favor, that I don't have to fix everything before I can be loved, that I don't have to wear strength like a mask, because you already see behind it, and you love me still. So I let the mask fall, I let the performance go, I let my grip loosen, and in its place, I receive what you've been holding out to me all along. Rest, not just for my body, but for my soul. The kind of rest that doesn't come from numbing or escaping, but from being known and not rejected, held and not dropped, seen and not forgotten. Your rest, holy rest, rest that rebuilds, rest that restores, rest that realigns my spirit with truth. Tonight, I stop wrestling. I stop trying to measure up. I stop chasing the version of me I think you want, and I just let myself be yours, your daughter, your creation, your beloved, not perfect, but precious, not powerful, but protected, not polished, but pursued. You've never asked me to be more than human. You've only asked me to be honest. So here I am, Lord, nothing hidden, nothing filtered, nothing fixed. And here you are, unchanged by my condition, unmoved by my chaos, always sure, always steady. You are the same God who brought Joseph from prison to promise, the same God who sat with Job in the ashes, the same God who found Hagar in the wilderness and called her by name, the same God who walked through fire with 3 young men and turned the flames into testimony. And you are the same God who sits with me now. So I will not fear the unknown. I will not fear the silence. I will not fear the dark, because you are with me, even when I can't see what's next, even when I can't feel what you're doing, even when the answers are slow and the waiting is long. You are here, and you are enough. So I rest, not because the world is quiet, but because my spirit is. Not because the storm has passed, but because I found the one who calms it. I rest because you are God, and I am. There's a battle I can't see, but I can feel its weight. Not in loud ways, but in quiet resistance, the kind that makes peace feel unfamiliar and rest feel like something I have to earn. I don't see swords or shadows, but I feel the tension behind my thoughts, the heaviness that doesn't always have a name. But even in this, I am not afraid, because you are here, Lord, and you don't just comfort me, you defend me. You don't just give me rest, you guard it. You don't just watch over my sleep, you war for my soul while I lie still, so I won't be intimidated by what I don't see, because I know you see it all, and you are not alarmed. You are not shaken. You are not pacing. You are seated in victory, and you invite me into that same peace. So tonight I step out of fear and into shelter. I step out of striving and into covering. I step out of chaos and into clarity, not because everything is clear, but because you are. You are clarity. You are peace. You are the one who commands angels concerning me. You are the one who speaks to storms and silences them with a word. You are the one who prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies, not after the battle, but in the middle of it. So I will not fear the night. I will not fear the silence. I will not fear the shadows. You said in Psalm 91 that no harm will overtake me, no disaster will come near my tent. You promised to cover me with your feathers, and that under your wings I would find refuge. So I nestle beneath those wings now, not as a servant but as a child. A loved child, a protected child, a chosen child who does not need to earn what has already been freely given. Cover me, God, not just from danger, but from the lies that have tried to become part of my identity. Cover me from the lie that I'm too far gone. Cover me from the thought that I missed my chance. Cover me from the inner voice that says I have to work harder to be worthy of love. Remind me that I'm not fighting for approval. I'm resting in adoption, that I'm not a visitor in your house. I'm part of the family, that I'm not hoping to be chosen. I already am. Tonight I lay down every false weapon I've picked up to protect myself. The self-criticism that I thought would keep me from failing again. The emotional walls I built to keep people out before they could leave. The numbing habits that promised comfort but delivered nothing but distance. I lay them down now. I don't need armor. I created when I already have armor. You designed. The helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, the belt of truth, the shoes of peace, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of the Spirit. I wear these tonight, not as a soldier striving for victory, but as a child sleeping in it, because this battle is not mine to fight. It never was. It belongs to you, Lord, and you have already won. So, I don't lay down like someone defeated. I lie down like someone covered by your word, covered by your promises, covered by the blood that speaks a better word over every accusation, over every regret, over every fear. You fight differently, God. You don't need force to conquer. You win with presence. You don't need to shout to silence darkness. You overcome it with light. You don't need to rush, because you're never late. So I won't rush either. I won't chase after outcomes tonight. I won't wrestle with what-ifs. I won't run down roads of anxiety that lead nowhere. I will stay right here, wrapped in your nearness, surrounded by the unseen armies of heaven, and steadied by the truth that even in the middle of spiritual warfare, you are still my rest. Let that settle deep inside me. Let it sink past the surface. Let it root itself in the places that still flinch when life grows uncertain. Because I want to live rooted, not in my circumstances but in your word, rooted in your kindness, rooted in your promise, rooted in the truth that nothing I face tomorrow can separate me from your love tonight. Your love is not threatened by my weakness. It doesn't falter when I question. It doesn't run when I fail. It holds me firm, quiet, faithful. Let it hold me now. Let it wrap around my thoughts like a blanket. Let it carry me into sleep with no need to keep watch over my own soul, because you are watching. And I trust you. I trust you with my mind. I trust you with my body. I trust you with my past and my future, and everything in between. You can have it all. The broken pieces, the unknown chapters, the unspoken pain. I give it all to you, not in fear, but in freedom, because I know what happens when things are placed in your hands. You multiply what we bring, even if all we bring is surrender. So I surrender again, not out of defeat, out of desire. I want you more than I want relief. I want your presence more than predictable answers. I want your voice more than clarity. And I want your rest, not just in this moment, but as a rhythm for my life. Let this be more than a good night's sleep. Let it be a holy reset, a soul reset, a new agreement between me and you, that I will stop fighting battles you've already won, and I will start resting in the one who holds me. I belong to you. That is the truest thing about me, not my accomplishments, not my failure, not the words that have wounded or the moments that have marked me. The truest thing about me is that I am yours. You wrote it in blood. You sealed it with grace. You sing it over me in the middle of the night when my heart forgets. So I remember now, and I sleep with the assurance that heaven is not silent, that love is not absent, that I am not defenseless. I sleep beneath the shadow of the Almighty, and nothing can reach me here. You are my shield. You are my refuge. You are my victory. And I am at. Some pain doesn't speak loudly. It just lingers, quiet, familiar, tucked deep into places I've learned to ignore. I don't talk about it often. Maybe I've convinced myself it's too small to bring to you, Or maybe I've grown so used to it that I forgot it was even pain at all. But you see it, Lord, you always do. You see what I hide even from myself. The disappointments that never had closure, the friendships that left quietly without goodbye, the dreams that faded while I tried to be strong, the nights I cried into the dark and told no one. Not because I didn't want help, but because I didn't know how to explain the ache. You never needed me to explain. You just waited for the moment I'd hand it over. And I do now. Every memory I've labeled too messy. Every emotion I've silenced out of shame. Every hurt I've carried because I didn't think healing was for me. Every scar I've hidden like it wasn't part of my story. You saw it all, and you loved me through every second of it. Not with pity but with passion. Not with judgment but with gentleness. Not with impatience but with unrelenting kindness. You're not afraid of what broke me. You're not surprised by what still hurts. You're not disappointed in the way I've coped. You're simply here, present, patient, healing. So I stopped pretending tonight. I stopped telling myself it shouldn't matter anymore. I stopped trying to outgrow wounds that never fully healed, and I opened them to you, not for shame, but for restoration, because that's what you do, Lord. You restore, you redeem, you reach back into the parts of my life I thought were too far gone, and you make them whole again, not always in the way I imagined, but in the way I never knew I needed. You heal differently, not always instantly, not always painlessly, but always completely, and you begin that healing in the stillness. So let this night be the beginning of something new. Let it be the night I stop carrying what was never mine to fix. Let it be the night I stop apologizing for how much I feel. Let it be the night I stop defining myself by the damage done to me. Let it be the night I let you in, truly, deeply, entirely. No more holding back. No more spiritual distance masked as resilience. No more managing the symptoms while ignoring the wound. Come into the hidden places, God. Into the memories that still sting. Into the echoes of words I still hear when I close my eyes. Into the silence left by people who should have stayed. Into the grief I've carried like a shadow, always just behind me. Speak to it. Cover it. Heal it. You said in Joel 2:25, I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. And I know now, you weren't just talking about crops. You were talking about the years of me that were consumed by fear, the pieces of me devoured by shame, the joy that was stolen by betrayal, the confidence crushed by comparison, the identity buried beneath survival. Restore it all, Lord. Even the parts I forgot were missing, even the places I stopped hoping could ever be whole. I believe you can rebuild from rubble. You've always been a God of resurrection, of beauty from ashes, of joy from mourning, of hope from what felt final. So breathe over the dry bones tonight, the ones I gave up on, the ones I never named, the ones I believed would never live again. Let them rise. Let them rattle. Let them remind me that nothing is wasted, not even my weeping. You've seen every tear. Not one has been ignored. Not one has fallen unnoticed. Your word says, you collect them in a bottle. You've stored them with care. You've remembered what I forgot. You've heard the cries I whispered into pillows at midnight. And you answer, not always with words, but with healing. You answer with presence, with patience, with touch. So touch me here, not just in the body but in the heart, not just where people see, but where only you have access. Lay your hand upon the ache that never speaks out loud. Wrap your arms around the part of me that still grieves what could have been. Whisper truth into the lies I've believed for too long. I am not unworthy. I am not broken beyond repair. I am not too much or not enough. I am not disqualified by what hurt me. I am chosen. I am loved. I am whole. Not because I feel whole, but because you said I am. Your word is my mirror now, not my pain, not my past, not the patterns I've tried to break, not the voice that says healing is for other people, but not for me. You said I am a new creation. You said I have been made clean. You said there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. So I let that be the final word. Not the shame, not the memory, not the echo of rejection. I choose your word over theirs, your truth over trauma, your voice over fear. And I believe healing is not just possible, it is promised. Maybe not all at once, maybe not without process, but you never begin what you don't intend to finish. So finish what you started in me. Carry to completion the healing I've waited for. Let this night mark a turning point in my spirit, not because everything will feel different in the morning, but because something already shifted, because my soul finally said yes. Yes to healing. Yes to wholeness. Yes to being seen, not just superficially, but completely. I am not a sum of what I've survived. I am a vessel of your glory. I am a living testimony, and if you're still writing my story, then no chapter will be wasted, not even this one. So I lay my head down not just to sleep, but to heal, to release, to believe. You are healing what I cannot even name, and I am safe in your hands. Waiting is one of the hardest things for my heart to do. It's not that I don't trust you, Lord. It's that sometimes I trust my timeline more. I expect things to unfold when I understand them. I look for results to confirm I heard you correctly. I want signs when you're offering silence, and movement when you're teaching me to be still. But tonight, I release that. I release the calendar I've built around my expectations. I release the idea that progress is always visible. I release the belief that if I don't feel something changing, nothing is happening. Because I know better now. I know that seeds grow long before we ever see a sprout. I know that roots deepen in the dark. I know that you often work in quiet, slow, unseen ways. And if I'm honest, sometimes I've confused that stillness with inaction. Sometimes I've labeled your silence as distance, but you've never been far. And you've never stopped moving. You're just not in a hurry. And that, more than anything, teaches me how much I still need to trust. I don't want to force what you are still forming. I don't want to rush what you are building with care. I don't want to run ahead of the shepherd and lose sight of the path you've marked for me. So I lay down the need to know, to control, to explain, to plan out the next 5 steps when you've only given me 1. I lay it all down because I'm learning. Peace doesn't come from having answers. It comes from knowing I'm held by the one who does. Tonight, I rest in that. I rest in the truth that your timing is perfect. Not convenient or predictable, not comfortable, but perfect. Perfect for who I am. Perfect for what I don't yet see. Perfect for the healing you're still working in me before the next door can open. Because you care more about the condition of my heart than the speed of my progress. And if the delay is making me stronger, then I'll wait. If the waiting is building my trust, I'll stay. If the silence is making room for deeper surrender, I'll lean in. I won't rush you. I won't rush me. You never hurry what you value. You never withhold to punish. You withhold to protect. You pause to prepare. You wait, because you love too deeply to give me something before I'm ready to carry it. So ready me. Not for performance, but for presence. Not for platforms, but for peace. Not for recognition, but for intimacy. Ready my soul to hold what I once begged for, and finally believe it was never about earning. It was always about timing. Let this night be holy, not because I got a breakthrough, but because I surrendered the need to chase one. Let this rest be worship, not because I solved anything, but because I chose to trust you in the middle. I'm not where I thought I'd be, but I'm still with you. And that means I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. So I won't measure progress by what I see. I'll measure it by how much I trust, by how quickly I surrender, by how gently I release what was never mine to begin with. Because the truth is, nothing was ever really mine. The relationships, the dreams, the plans, the opportunities, the outcomes, they were always yours, on loan, entrusted, not for me to manage, but to steward, not for me to control, but to yield back into your hands, again and again. And so I do, not with fear but with peace, not with resistance but with reverence, not because I've given up, but because I've grown up enough to know that waiting doesn't mean wasting. You never waste waiting seasons. You use them to recalibrate, to prune, to strip away what looked spiritual but was rooted in strife, to remind me that I am not defined by momentum. I am defined by identity, and my identity is secure, no matter the pace, no matter the outcome, no matter how long it takes. I don't need to rush to be significant. I don't need to be visible to be valuable. I don't need the crowd to hear me when heaven already knows my name. You've seen every act of faith that no one else noticed. You've counted every obedient step I took in private. You've honored every time I chose integrity over applause. And you've promised that in due season there will be a harvest, if I do not give up. So I won't. I may lie here tired, but I will not give up. I may have questions, but I will not walk away. I may not know what's next, but I will keep saying yes. Yes to the slow, yes to the quiet, yes to the trust that transforms, because I'd rather be on your timeline in peace than ahead of you in anxiety. I'd rather grow deep than fast. I'd rather walk with you than arrive alone. So teach me how to wait like you waited in the wilderness, how to wait like Mary waited in obedience, how to wait like David waited in the cave, how to wait like Jesus waited in the garden, fully surrendered, fully trusting, fully at rest in the Father's will. Let that be my posture now, not my will but yours, not my plan but yours, not my pace but yours. Even if I don't feel like I'm moving forward, remind me that waiting is not standing still. It is walking slowly with you. And that's where I want to be, with you, in sync, in step, in peace. So tonight, I give up the chase, and I choose the stillness. There are seasons when the soul forgets how to sing. Not because it doesn't believe anymore, but because the weight of loss settled in too deeply. Maybe it was a dream that quietly died. Maybe it was a relationship that unraveled slowly. Maybe it was the slow erosion of joy under the current of constant survival. Whatever it was, you saw it, Lord. You didn't miss a moment of the breaking. And tonight, even though I can't name every wound, I feel their echo in the silence. But this silence, it isn't abandon, it isn't distance. It's a holy pause, a sacred moment where you gently gather what's left and begin again. So begin in me, God, not with something big, not with something loud, just with stillness, with presence, with the quiet work of restoration. Let this be the night something new begins, not around me, but within me. Let it be the night I begin to believe again, not because everything is fixed, but because you are faithful. Let it be the night I start rebuilding, not out of pressure but out of peace. Because peace isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of you. You are the God who makes all things new, and you never start from scratch. You begin again with broken pieces and breathe beauty back into what the world would have thrown away. That's what you're doing in me. You're restoring joy I didn't realize I'd buried. You're reviving hope that was still alive under the ashes. You're breathing fresh wind into lungs that forgot what rest felt like. I may feel empty, but you don't need fullness to begin. You're the God who multiplies what's offered. You're the God who takes 5 loaves and 2 fish and feeds the thousands. So I offer you what I have, what's left after the storm, what's left after the loss, What's left after I stopped pretending I was okay? It doesn't look like much, but in your hands it's enough. Enough for enough for redemption, enough for renewal. Because I'm not too far gone. I'm not past the point of return. I'm not disqualified by my grief, or my silence, or the days when I stopped hoping. You know how to find people in that place. You found Elijah under the broom tree. You found Peter after he gave up. You found Thomas in his doubt. You found Mary weeping in the garden. And you found me tonight. Here, quiet. Here, open. Here, ready, not to do something for you, but to be remade by you. Because I can't move forward with a fractured soul. I can't keep showing up with pieces of a self I've outgrown. So I surrender the version of me I tried to maintain. The version that coped. The version that performed. The version that held everything together for everyone else, but never sat long enough to be held herself. I surrender her to you, and I receive what you're forming instead. Not a stronger version of the same. A softer one. A more surrendered one. A healed one. One who knows that peace doesn't require perfection. One who remembers that joy is not found in the absence of storms, but in the presence of the one who calms them. That's you, Jesus. You don't need me to rebuild alone. You're not watching from a distance while I gather the scattered pieces. You're here, on the ground with me, gently gathering what I've dropped. You're not rushing. You're not forcing. You're just present. And that is enough. It's enough to begin again. To believe again. To breathe again. To rest. Not as someone defeated, but as someone being renewed. I know now that rest isn't a reward. It's a weapon. A declaration that I trust you more than I trust my ability to fix what's broken. So I rest. Not in denial, but in defiance of despair. Not because everything is okay, but because you are. You are still the comforter, still the shepherd, still the healer, still the friend of the weary. You're not disappointed that I need you again. You're not frustrated that I ran out of strength. You delight in being my source. You delight in carrying me when I can't walk. You delight in renewing me in the night, so I can rise with joy in the morning. Your word says in Psalm 35, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And while the morning hasn't come yet, I feel its promise. I feel its warmth beginning to rise in the distance, not because the pain is gone, but because hope has returned. And hope is always a sign that healing has begun. So let the healing continue. Let it stretch slowly into every place I've hidden for too long. Let it fill the rooms of my heart that haven't seen light in years. Let it rise not like fire but like dawn. Soft, gradual, sure. Let your word be the sunlight that awakens the joy that was buried. Let your nearness be the warmth that melts away the fear. Let your spirit be the voice that reminds me over and over. I am not who I was when the pain came. I am becoming something new. Not perfect, not polished, but whole. Not because I put myself back together, but because I finally stopped trying to do what only you can. You are the one who heals. You are the one who binds up the broken-hearted. You are the one who exchanges sorrow for joy. You are the one who gives beauty for ashes. So I bring my ashes, every burned-out place, every bitter root, every dry well, and I let you trade them for something only heaven could give. Because I don't want a temporary fix. I want full renewal. And you've promised it to me, not just when I get everything right, but even now, especially now. So I close my eyes tonight, not in fear, not in ache, but in release. I don't have to hold what you already carry. I don't have to heal what you already know how to restore. I don't have to rebuild alone, because you are with me, and in your presence, I am becoming new. I may not have everything I thought I needed, but tonight I realize I have more than enough. I have breath in my lungs. I have a quiet room. I have space to exhale. But most of all, I have you. And that is everything. Not because you fixed it all, not because the journey has been easy, but because in every moment, even the ones I didn't acknowledge you stayed. I look back now and see your fingerprints on seasons I thought were abandoned. I see you in conversations I didn't know I needed. I see you in closed doors that turned out to be protection. I see you in moments when the silence felt unbearable. But somehow I survived. And that survival was never mine alone. You carried me, you comforted me. You didn't remove every obstacle, but you walked through them with me. And for that, I'm thankful. Not the shallow kind of thankful, not the kind that looks good on the surface, but avoids the deeper ache. This is the kind of gratitude that aches a little. The kind that knows what it cost to get here. This is the kind that comes from battlefields and wildernesses, and quiet nights filled with unseen tears. This is holy gratitude. Gratitude that breathes slowly. Gratitude that lives deep. Gratitude that says, even if nothing changes tomorrow, I'm still thankful tonight. Because you are enough. You've always been enough. Even when I didn't understand you, you remained faithful. Even when I was disappointed in outcomes, you were never less good. Even when my prayers didn't unfold the way I hoped, you stayed kind. I thank you, God, not just for blessings I can name, but for who you are when there are no blessings to list. I thank you for consistency in a world of constant change. I thank you for peace in moments where there should have been none. I thank you for the grace I didn't see at the time, but now realize was holding me together. You are good, not because life has been easy, but because your heart is. You are worthy not because I understand everything, but because you've never wavered. You are holy not because you perform on my timeline, but because you reign above time itself. And tonight I worship you not in song but in stillness. Not with noise but with silence. Not with performance but with presence. Because true worship isn't always loud. Sometimes it's lying still with a heart that says thank you, just for being here. So thank you, Father. Thank you for staying when others left. Thank you for waiting when Thank you for whispering when I needed clarity, and for holding me when I needed nothing but love. You didn't need to prove yourself. You were already worthy. You didn't owe me anything. And yet you gave me everything that mattered. Not things, presence. Peace. Mercy that met me every morning, even when I barely acknowledged it. Joy that returned without resentment. Forgiveness that came before I even asked. Hope that rose slowly after long nights of disappointment. And now, in this quiet night, I just want to say thank you. Not to get something from you. Not to earn anything. Just to let you know that I see it now. I see your faithfulness. I see your kindness. I see your patience with my slow healing. I see your hand behind every moment I once called coincidence. And I'm overwhelmed, not with fear, not with stress, but with thankfulness. Because what else can I bring you, Lord? What can I give you that you don't already own? All I have is gratitude. And tonight I pour it out like oil at your feet. Not rushed, not forced, but genuine. You are the air I breathe, the light in my darkness, the voice that reminds me of who I am when I forget, the calm in my storms, the compass when I've lost my way. You are the unchanging in a world that shifts like sand, and even when life feels ordinary, you are still extraordinary. So I thank you for the small things, for breath, for rest, for a soft pillow and a quiet room, for memories that made me laugh today, or for strength to endure if today brought pain, for the chance to be still without earning it, for the sound of peace that settles in when I remember I'm not alone. Thank you for not demanding perfection. Thank you for calling me beloved even when I feel messy. Thank you for walking with me not just into victories, but through valleys. And thank you for tonight, for this moment, for this pause, for this sacred chance to remember that I am loved by a holy God who wants nothing more than my presence. So I give it to you, my heart, my mind, my soul, not trying to impress you, just being with you. And in that, I am whole. This is worship. This is intimacy. This is peace. And I am thankful. There's something sacred about being small, not weak, not insignificant, just small enough to be carried, small enough to be held without needing to understand, small enough to trust without conditions. That's the kind of faith I long for again, not the faith that needs answers, but the kind that simply believes. You are good, because you are. The kind that doesn't rush into worry. The kind that doesn't overanalyze the silence. The kind that doesn't demand to see before it surrenders. The kind that curls up in your arms and says, Abba, Father, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know you. And that is enough. You said to come like a child, not with credentials, not with clarity, not with carefully crafted prayers, just so I come now, not as a grown mind trying to solve every unknown, but as a heart that simply wants to rest in the presence of the one who loves me. I lay down the pressure to figure it all out. I lay down the fear that I'll be left behind. I lay down the questions that haven't yet been answered. Because I trust you, not just what you do, not just what you give, but you, your heart, your voice, your character that never shifts with circumstances. I trust that you are near, even when I can't feel it. I trust that you are working, even when I can't see it. I trust that you are good, even when life doesn't look like it. I trust like a child trusts their father, not because they understand every step, but because they know they're not walking alone. That's what I want again, Lord, that wide-eyed trust, that innocent hope, that unquestioning belief that if you are here, everything will be okay, even if nothing looks okay. Teach me again how to delight in you, how to laugh without fear of the future, how to sit still without trying to earn something, how to ask boldly without shame, how to let go without panic. You said the kingdom belongs to children, because children don't carry burdens they were never meant to hold. They don't live calculating outcomes, they just reach up and trust the hand that holds them. So I reach up now, not because I'm strong, but because I'm tired, not because I have it all together, but because I finally admit that I don't. And you meet me there, not with disappointment, but with delight. You don't roll your eyes when I come to you again with the same fear. You don't grow weary of reminding me who I am. You don't shame me for needing reassurance. You simply love, patiently, tenderly, steadily. And in that love, I remember how to be a child again. How to believe that miracles still happen. How to whisper thank you for the small things. How to rest, not because I earned it, but because I belong to the one who gives rest freely. You are not a distant God. You are Abba, Father, near, present, kneeling down beside my bed like a parent soothing a restless child. And tonight, I let you soothe me. I let you hush the worries. I let you sing over me. I let you hold the parts of me that still don't know how to let go. Because I'm learning childlike faith doesn't mean weakness. It means knowing where to run when I'm tired. It means letting my tears fall freely, because I know they're safe with you. It means crawling into your lap in the middle of the chaos and believing that just being near you is enough. I don't need to impress you. I don't need to understand everything. I don't need a spiritual resume or a list of perfect prayers. I just need to trust. So I do as best I can, even when it feels wobbly, even when it's small, even when I feel like I should be further along by now. You honor the faith of a mustard seed. So tonight, I give you that seed, and I trust you to grow it, water it, protect it, because faith doesn't have to be loud to be real. It just has to be placed in the right hands, and I place mine in yours. You are not ashamed of my simplicity. You welcome it, you bless it, you build with it, and you remind me that the most powerful place I can ever be is in full dependence on you. So I stop striving to be spiritual. I stop pretending I know more than I do. I stop trying to hold what only you are meant to carry. And I become small again. Not unseen. Not unimportant. Just surrendered. Just safe. Just held. And it is here, in this childlike posture, that I find what I've been searching for all along. Peace. Security. Belonging. You are my father, and I am your child, and nothing will ever change that. Some wounds don't bleed, they stay buried, quiet, deep, carried for so long they start to feel like part of me. But they're not. That pain, that weight, that bitterness I didn't ask for, I don't want to carry it anymore. Tonight, Lord, I bring it to you. The memories I replay in silence, the conversations that still sting, the people who never said sorry, the trust that was broken, the words that cut deep, the silences that hurt more than shouting ever could. You see it all. You always have, and still you invite me not to bury it, not to numb it, but to release it, to forgive. Not because they deserve it, not because it didn't hurt, but because my heart was never meant to be a storage place for pain. You created it to be soft, open, but unforgiveness hardens it, slowly, quietly. Bitterness builds brick by brick, until peace can't find a place to land. So tonight, with trembling hands, I start to dismantle what's been built up inside me. I name what I haven't said aloud. I bring the faces to mind. The ones who walked away. The ones who betrayed. The ones who disappointed me in the moment I needed them most. And I say what feels impossible. I forgive them. Not because I'm strong, but because I trust you to be strong in me. I forgive the words they said, and the ones they never did. I forgive the abandonment. I forgive the manipulation. I forgive the indifference that felt like rejection. I forgive the moments they didn't see me, the versions of me they judged without ever knowing my heart. And as I forgive, something lifts. Not all at once, but slowly, like a breath I didn't realize I was holding, like light entering a locked room. Because forgiveness doesn't change the past, it releases the grip it had on my present. It unhooks the chains that kept my soul from resting. It allows my heart to beat freely again. And you, Lord, you're not asking me to pretend it didn't hurt. You're not telling me to minimize the pain. You're inviting me to bring it to you so that it no longer has power over me. You're inviting me into healing, not forgetting but being set free. So I speak their names in my heart, not to curse, but to bless. Not because they earned my grace, but because you poured out grace on me long before I ever deserved it. And if you can love me in all my failures, I can choose to love others through yours. Even when they never say sorry, even when they never change, even when they never understand what they did. Because forgiveness is not about their apology, it's about my freedom. So I lay down the burden I've carried like armor, the right to be angry, the weight of being right, the silent arguments I've had in my head. I lay it all down, and in its place I take peace. Peace that runs deeper than offense. Peace that knows my identity is not built on someone else's behavior. Peace that trusts you to be my defender, my healer, my restoration. Because I don't need revenge to feel whole. I don't need closure to move forward. I just need you. You are justice. You are kindness. You are the one who sees every tear and keeps record, not to shame but to redeem. So I let go now of old grudges, of quiet resentment, of the poison I sipped, hoping it would change someone else. I no longer need to carry what you already bore. You took my wounds to the cross, and you took theirs too. So who am I to withhold grace? Who am I to carry chains you already unlocked? Who am I to sleep in prisons when you've already opened the door? I walk out now, free, light, whole, and I let the tears come, not from pain but from release, because I'm finally not carrying it anymore. I'm not clinging to anger to feel strong. I'm not rehearsing old pain to stay protected. I'm open again, and in that openness I remember, this is what it feels like to breathe. To forgive doesn't mean I trust again overnight. It means I choose to stop bleeding on the inside. It means I stop letting their choices write the rest of my story. You write my story, God, and you're writing a story of freedom, of healing, of mercy, greater than the offense, of love that doesn't make sense except through the lens of the cross. You said, Father, forgive them, while nails held you in place. So who am I to withhold forgiveness in my comfort, when you forgave in agony? Your grace teaches me how, and where my forgiveness ends, yours begins. So I rest now. I rest in a soul that's not holding grudges. I rest in a heart that's choosing to be light. I rest in the knowledge that I am forgiven, fully, completely, and I am free to extend that same gift. You've set me free, Lord, and in this freedom, I sleep in peace. There's a kind of strength the world never taught me, not the loud kind, not the polished kind, not the kind that shows up in control or perfection, but the quiet kind. The strength that survives the storm without needing to prove it was strong. The strength that stays when walking away would be easier. The strength that knows it's okay to feel weak, because weakness isn't failure. It's the invitation to lean. It's the place where you meet me, not to shame me, but to carry me. I've spent so long trying to be strong on my own, trying to be the one who holds it together, the one who never breaks, the one who never lets them see her cry. But you never asked me to be that version of strength. You asked me to be real. You asked me to bring you the places I hide, the places I patch over with smiles and call fine, the places that tremble underneath the weight of expectations I was never meant to carry. So I bring them now, not to fix, not to hide, just to offer, because you said your power is made perfect in weakness, not in polished prayers, not in curated image, in weakness. That's where you shine. So I stop pretending. I stop pushing. I stop pretending strong means silent. And I lean into you, into grace, into the arms of a God who doesn't need me to perform, but only to receive, because real strength begins where striving ends. And I've reached the end of striving. I'm tired, Lord, not defeated, just honest. I've tried to manage everything on my own. I've tried to carry burdens you never assigned. I've tried to make up for what I lacked with overwork, with overthinking, with over-apologizing, but it never brought peace. It only made me more tired. So tonight, I release it. I release the need to be enough for everyone. I release the pressure to look unshaken. I release the expectation to have answers I never had, because I was never meant to be the source. You are my strength, my sustainer, my stillness when the world swirls loud around me, and in you I find what I couldn't produce on my own. Steady courage, gentle resilience, endurance not born of willpower, but of presence. You don't hand me strength and walk away. You walk beside me with every step. You lift what's too heavy when I can't anymore. You whisper, my grace is sufficient for you, and I believe you now. I believe that being weak in your presence is safer than being strong alone. I believe that broken isn't useless, It's the beginning of renewal. I believe that you don't just fix. You fill. You fill the cracks with mercy. You fill the gaps with glory. You fill the silence with truth. And where I thought I failed, you are just getting started. You're not looking for my performance, you're looking for my surrender. And I give it. I give the tired pieces, the weary bones, the bruised heart, the shaky faith. I give it all, not because I think I have much to offer, but because you delight in receiving what is real. And this is real. I am tired, but I am not without hope. I am weak, but I am not without a helper. I am undone, but I am not unloved. You are here, and your presence is my confidence, not in what I can do, not in how I appear, but in what you have promised. You said I am never alone. You said you go before me and behind me. You said no weapon formed against me will prosper. You said the joy of the Lord is my strength. So I hold to those promises now. I don't have to feel strong to be held. I don't have to look strong to be loved. I don't have to explain the fatigue. I just have to rest in the arms of my Maker, in the voice of my Shepherd, in the heart of my Father. And there I find strength, the kind that doesn't fade with sleep, the kind that doesn't rely on effort, the kind that rises fresh every morning, like mercy. So I close my eyes, not because the battle is over, but because I know who fights for me. I am not alone. I am not abandoned. I am not failing just because I'm tired. I am simply being remade. You're building endurance. I didn't ask for but will one day thank you for. You're preparing a table in the presence of everything that tried to break me. You're lifting my head. You're steadying my breath. You're reminding me that strength was never mine to muster. It was always yours to give. And tonight, I receive it. The night is still. The room is quiet. The world slows its breathing. And so do I. But even here, in the dark, in the silence, I am not alone. Because you are the God who does not slumber. You are the one who keeps watch when my eyes grow heavy. You are the protector of my soul. You don't just guard cities or nations. You guard me. You don't just shield armies. You shield my heart. And tonight I rest under your covering, not under superstition, not under fear, but under the wings of the Almighty. For it is written, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." So I dwell in you now. I settle in your presence, not as a guest, but as a child in her father's house. No intruder can cross your threshold. No shadow can silence your light. No lie can stand against the truth you've spoken over me. You are my refuge. You are my fortress. You are my ever-present help in time of trouble. And tonight, I feel your nearness, not as a concept, but as a presence, a warmth that surrounds, a quiet that protects, a peace that stills my pulse and softens my breath. I am safe, not because the world is safe, but because you are my safety. Your angels surround me. Your spirit covers me. Your name seals me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No curse can root itself in soil covered by your blood. No fear can take root in a heart grounded in your truth. You are my shield, not just once, but every night. You are not tired of defending me. You are not weary of watching over me. You are faithful, and your faithfulness is a wall of fire around me. Even in the deepest sleep, you remain alert. Even when I can't feel danger approaching, you see it coming and stop it at the gate. How many battles have you fought for me, Lord? How many threats have you silenced before I ever knew their name? How many times have you whispered peace when the enemy came with fear? You protect in ways I'll never see. You defend in silence and stillness. You cover what I could never defend on my own. And tonight, I let that reality wrap around me like a blanket. Soft, thick, safe, not just warm, but impenetrable. I do not need to stay awake to be guarded. I do not need to repeat words to earn your favor. You already love me. You already chose me. You already placed a hedge around me. So I release the fear of the night. I release the fear of what I cannot see. I release the need to stay in control. Because you are in control. And that is enough. Your name is a strong tower, and I run into it and am safe. There are places where praise comes easily. On mountaintops. After breakthroughs, when prayers are answered and dreams unfold like flowers in bloom. But there are other places too. Wilderness places. Empty spaces. Silent seasons where answers feel far away and nothing seems to move. It's here, right here, that worship becomes pure. Because it's no longer tied to circumstance, it's no longer a response to blessing. It becomes a choice, a posture, a declaration in the dark. You are still worthy. Not because life is perfect, but because you are. Not because I feel strong, but because you are strength itself. And tonight I worship. Right here, in the wilderness. Not because everything is okay, but because even when it's not, you still are. You are still holy, still kind, still sovereign, still near. You have not changed just because my scenery has. You have not grown distant just because I can't feel you. And so I worship. With tired hands, with a weary heart, with whispered words that barely rise above a sigh. Because this is what you treasure. Not loud noise, not polished praise, but the kind that rises from the ashes, the kind that chooses to believe, even when it doesn't see, the kind that echoes from cracked vessels, offering you what little is left, and finding you fill it with glory. This is the kind of worship that pleases you, not performance, but presence. And I bring my presence now, not as a perfect offering, but as an honest one. Here I am, Lord, in the middle of not knowing, in the middle of waiting, in the middle of things I cannot fix or explain, but still I worship. Because you are worthy in the valley, just as you are on the mountain. You are worthy in the silence, just as you are in the song. You are worthy in my weakness, just as you are in my strength. You are worthy in my weakness, just as you are in my strength. You are not less God because I feel less. You are still God. You are still good. You are still faithful. And so I praise you with my breath, with my stillness, with the quiet trust that says, even now I believe. Even now I will lift my eyes. Even now I will sing. Even if only in my spirit. Even now I will say thank you. Thank you for being with me here. Thank you for not rushing me through this. Thank you for the manna I didn't expect but desperately needed. Thank you for water from rocks I never thought would split open. Thank you for holding me, even when I tried to walk ahead of you. This wilderness is not wasted. You are shaping something here, teaching me to depend, teaching me to listen, teaching me to love you. Not for what you do, but for who you are. And who you are is worthy. Worthy of praise in the middle of pain. Worthy of love when I don't feel lovable. Worthy of honor when the world ignores you. Worthy of devotion when everything in me wants to run. So I stay and I worship, not because I have it all together, but because worship is where I fall apart safely. Worship is where you rebuild me from the inside out. Worship is the place where sorrow turns to strength, where mourning is exchanged for dancing. Even if the dance is slow, even if the dance is done with tear-filled eyes and trembling steps, it still counts. It still matters. You still receive it. You said you are close to the broken-hearted, so I draw near, knowing you already have. You inhabit the praises of your people, even the ones whispered in the dark, and so I whisper, not to be heard by crowds, but to be held by you. This wilderness will not last forever, but while I'm here, I choose to praise, because this is holy ground. Not because it's pretty, not because it's easy, but because you are here, and wherever you are, even if it's desert land, it becomes sacred. So I lift my eyes, not to escape, but to remember. You are still leading, you are still writing this story, you are still the one who makes a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. You do not waste the waiting, you do not abandon the barren, you dwell even in dry places, and where you dwell, worship can live. So I let it rise again. A quiet hallelujah, a whispered thank you, a steady yes. Not because I see the outcome, but because I trust the author. You are worthy, here, now, always. Who am I? Really? Not the version others expect. Not the mask I sometimes wear. Not the role I've learned to play. Who am I beneath the pressure, beneath the titles, beneath the noise? In the quiet of this night, I ask you, Lord, and in the stillness you answer. Not with rebuke, but with remembrance. You call me beloved, chosen, known, not because of anything I've earned, but because of who you are. You knew me before I knew myself. You saw me in the secret, formed me in the hidden, and every part of me was made on purpose. I am not an accident, not a mistake, not a broken copy of something better. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, not just in body, but in spirit, in calling, in design. You breathed purpose into my lungs. You sang identity over my frame. You placed eternity in my heart, and nothing this world offers can fill it but you. I have spent so long trying to become enough, to earn acceptance, to prove value, to be seen, to be wanted. But tonight, I lay that striving down. I stop chasing identity and temporary things, in success, in image, in applause, in perfection, because all of it fades, and none of it can name me. Only you can, and you say I am yours. Before the world labeled me, you named me. Before the failures and regrets, you called me righteous. Not because I earned it, but because you covered me. Before the disappointments tried to define me, you reminded me, I am not what I've done. I am not what was done to me. I am redeemed. I am restored. I am sealed with your spirit. And that truth doesn't change with seasons or moods or emotions. It stands firm, unmoved, eternal. I am a daughter of the King, a temple of the Holy Spirit, a co-heir with Christ, anointed, appointed, accepted. I do not walk through this world nameless. I do not live unloved. You see me, fully, and still choose me, again and again. Not when I get it all right, but when I bring it all to you. You don't ask me to be perfect. You ask me to be real. You clothe me in righteousness. You crown me with compassion. You call me into a story bigger than my mistakes. And I believe you now, even if it feels too good, even if the lies still try to shout, even if shame tries to rise in the night. I reject it. I renounce every name not spoken by you. I release every label placed by pain, fear, culture, or comparison. I am not unworthy. I am not forgotten. I am not too much. I am not enough. I am who you say I am. And you say I am loved, adopted, forgiven, renewed. I don't have to climb to belong. I don't have to prove to be kept. You keep me because you delight in me, not in what I produce, but in who I am. I was never meant to find identity in applause. I was meant to find it in presence, yours. So I draw near now. I let go of every false identity I've worn like armor. I take off comparison. I take off shame. I take off the masks. And I sit bare before you, not to be judged, but to be known. And you know me better than anyone else. You know every flaw, and you call me lovely. You know every failure, and you still pursue me. You know every secret, and still call me daughter. You are not ashamed of me. You are not disappointed in me. You are not impatient with my process. You are patient, kind, faithful, and in your presence, I remember who I really am. I am light in the darkness. I am salt to the earth. I am a vessel of glory, not because of me, but because of you within me. The world didn't give me this identity, and the world can't take it. It is sealed, settled, spoken by the God who cannot lie. So I rest tonight in truth. I rest in what you've said, not in feelings, not in reputation, not in striving, just in truth. And truth sets me free. I am no longer a slave to fear. I am no longer bound by shame. I am no longer lost in confusion. I am found, named, claimed, loved, always. I wanted it sooner. The answer, the breakthrough, the open door, the healing I prayed for with shaking hands and silent tears. I thought maybe if I prayed hard enough, fasted long enough, believed big enough, it would happen now. But now never came the way I pictured. Instead came waiting. Instead came silence. Instead came questions with no reply. And for a long time, I called that silence absence. But I was wrong. You were never absent. You were simply working differently, quietly, beneath the surface where roots grow, beyond the timeline built in my head. And tonight, I surrender that timeline. I surrender the pressure I've placed on your promises. I surrender the deadlines I gave you, the expectations I dressed up as faith. Because faith isn't control, and trust isn't a bargain. It's release. So I release. I release the fear that says, it's too late. I release the anxiety that says you missed it. I release the lie that if it hasn't happened by now, it never will. You are not bound by my clock. You are not delayed. You are not forgetful. You are not scrambling behind the scenes to make things work. You are deliberate, wise, timely, eternal. You see the end from the beginning. And while I see moments, you see the masterpiece. So I trust you, even in the in-between, even in the not yet, even when I have no idea what you're doing. Because I know you, and knowing you is better than understanding everything you do. You are faithful, and your faithfulness doesn't operate on my schedule. It runs deeper, anchored in your goodness, not my convenience. So I stop striving for what I cannot control. I stop forcing what you have not yet given. I stop doubting just because it's been longer than I thought it would be. Delay is not denial. Silence is not rejection. Waiting is not wasted. You are forming something in me here. Patient dependence, maturity, surrender. Things I wouldn't have learned if you gave me what I wanted when I wanted it. Things I now see as gifts, even if they were wrapped in waiting. And so I wait differently now, not with clenched fists, but with open hands, not with frustration, but with faith, not with panic, but with peace. Because your timing is not just accurate, it's perfect. Perfect in its precision, perfect in its mercy, perfect in its love for me. You are not rushing. You are not slow. You are moving in ways I cannot see, and I choose to believe that what you're building is worth the wait. The healing will be deeper. The restoration will be fuller. The story will be richer because you wrote it, not me. And until then, I rest. I rest in the truth that you haven't forgotten. You haven't overlooked the details. You haven't abandoned the process. You are still writing, still shaping, still aligning, still preparing what I'm not yet ready to receive, and preparing me for what you're about to give. And that is mercy. So I lay down the clock. I lay down the fear of falling behind. I lay down the toxic pace of performance, and I align with grace. I choose to walk at your rhythm, not mine. I choose to breathe deeply, even in the pause, because the pause is holy too. The waiting is not punishment. It's invitation to trust deeper, to let go, to know you, not just the outcome. And I say yes. Yes to your timing. Yes to your way. Yes to your unseen hand, guiding me even when I don't feel movement. You have not stopped. You have not changed. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And you are good, always good, even in the delay, even in the desert, even when I don't understand. So tonight, I rest, not because I have all the answers, but because I know the one who does. I rest in your promises. I rest in your pace. I rest in the certainty that I am not behind. I am right on time in your hands, and your hands are always steady. Everything around me changes. People change. Seasons shift. Circumstances evolve. What once felt secure can suddenly feel fragile. What once looked certain can disappear in a moment. And in a world that moves so fast, it's easy to forget what remains. But tonight, I return to what does not change. I return to your promises. Not just ideas, not just poetic words written in ancient scrolls, but living, breathing truth, unshaken by time, untouched by doubt. You are the same. Yesterday, today, forever. And what you have spoken will not return void. You are not like man that you should lie. You are not like emotions that rise and fall. You are constant. You are truth. You are covenant-keeping. And when you say you will never leave me, you mean it. When you say you have plans to prosper me, you mean it. When you say all things work together for my good, you mean it. These are not hopeful sayings. These are unbreakable bonds. You swore by yourself, because there is no one higher. You sealed your word with blood, the blood of Jesus. And every promise in you is yes and amen. So even when I don't feel it, I trust it. Even when my eyes can't see it, my heart remembers. Your word is not tied to how my day went. Your faithfulness is not cancelled by how I feel. It endures. It stands. It holds me like an anchor beneath the waves. I've been tossed. I've been tired. I've been stretched thin. But I have never been forgotten, because your promises never leave. They never wear out. They never fade with time or get drowned out by noise. They are written not just on paper, but on my life. When the enemy comes in like a flood, your promise stands like a wall. When fear whispers lies in the night, your word speaks louder. When doubt clouds the horizon, your voice clears the sky. You said you would complete the good work you began in me, and you will. You said you would be near to the broken-hearted, and you are. You said nothing can separate me from your love, and nothing has. You said you would guide me with wisdom, and you do, even when I don't notice. So I cling to what you've said, not what I see. I build on your truth, not my understanding. Because your words are not just reassurance, they are reality. And in a world of shifting sands, your promise is rock beneath my feet. When everything else moves, you remain. When all else fails, you hold firm. And I am held in that promise tonight. Held by grace. Held by truth. Held by arms that do not grow weary. I don't need to strive to make the promise come true. I need only to believe, and belief is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it looks like resting, trusting, letting go, and that's what I do now. I let go of timelines. I let go of doubt. I let go of the fear that says, what if it doesn't happen? Because your word does not fall to the ground. You are not delayed. You are not forgetful. You are not measuring me by my performance. You are simply waiting for the right moment, and when it comes, nothing can stop it. So I rest, not in passivity, but in holy trust. I rest like someone who knows the contract is signed in heaven and cannot be revoked. I rest like someone who knows the author never abandons his story halfway through. I rest like someone who remembers, you have never failed, not once, and you won't start now. Your promises are my lullaby tonight. Soft, steady, sacred. You are the keeper of covenants, the guardian of every whispered prayer, the finisher of every beginning, and I am safe in what you have spoken. Even when I don't feel strong, your promise is still true. Even when I can't see progress, your promise is still work. Even when my heart aches, your promise is still healing. And tonight, that is enough. I sleep not with answers, but with assurance. I sleep not with control, but with confidence, because I sleep in the arms of the one who always keeps his word. Fear is loud. It doesn't wait for permission. It whispers worst-case scenarios before I can even breathe. It steals the quiet, interrupts the peace, hijacks the moment, and sometimes I let it. Not because I want to, but because I forget. I forget that fear is a liar. I forget that it's not my portion. I forget that you didn't give me a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. But tonight, I remember. I remember who you are, and in that I remember who I am. I am not a prisoner to fear. I am not chained to anxiety. I am not subject to panic. I am a child of God. And perfect love casts out fear. You are perfect love. You do not shame me for feeling afraid. You draw near. You do not roll your eyes at my worry. You wrap me in peace. You do not accuse. You assure. And tonight I come out of agreement with every fear I've welcomed. Every fear that told me I wasn't safe. Every fear that said I would fail. Every fear that made me brace for heartbreak, rejection, loss. I lay them down. Each one. I speak your name over them. Jesus. At the mention of your name, fear trembles. At the mention of your name, anxiety loses its grip. At the mention of your name, peace becomes possible again. So I breathe deep. Not because I figured it all out, but because I've stopped giving fear the final word. You are not just present, you are near. You don't just visit, you stay. And where you dwell, fear cannot. So I open the doors of my heart and let your spirit flood every shadow, the shadow of past wounds, the shadow of future unknown, the shadow of imagined disasters that haven't happened and probably never will. I give you my imagination, I give you my memories, I give you the places fear has built its house, and I ask you to rebuild it with peace, brick by brick, word by word, promise by promise, because fear has no legal right to what you have redeemed. My mind belongs to you, my body belongs to you, my breath belongs to you, and I declare it now. I am not afraid, not because there's nothing scary in the world, but because I am held by someone greater than it all. I am covered, surrounded, protected, and when fear tries to come back, because it will, I will remind it who I belong to. I will lift up truth like a sword. I will declare, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I will stand on the rock that does not move. I will rest in the arms that do not drop me. I will walk through the valley with confidence because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of fear, and still I feast, still I laugh, still I breathe, because you are here, and your love does not come and go. It stays. It drives out darkness. It silences lies. It holds me through trembling and teaches me to stand again. You do not scold me for fear. You free me from it. You remind me who I am. You whisper truth in the midnight hours, and you teach me to live as if I am already free, because I am. Not by my strength, but by your spirit. Not by control, but by surrender. And so I surrender fear tonight, not with shame, not with guilt, but with faith. I place it in your hands, and I pick up peace. I lay down worry, and I pick up worship. I release control, and I pick up trust, because fear feeds on my grip, but faith grows when I let go, and I am letting go now. I am not afraid of tomorrow, because you're already there. I am not afraid of what might happen, because you are sovereign over every outcome. I am not afraid of failure, because you use everything, even missteps, for my good. And so I sleep tonight, as one who is free, free from torment, free from dread, free from tension in my shoulders and racing thoughts in my head. I sleep as a beloved child, held, safe, anchored. And tomorrow, if fear knocks again, I will not open the door, because I know who I am, and I know who lives here. Love lives here. Peace lives here. Jesus lives here. And fear has no place anymore. I don't have to go far to find you. I don't have to climb or perform. I don't have to earn my way in. I am already here, and so are you. Your presence is not a distant place I visit. It is the home I was created for. And tonight I return. Not as a stranger, not as a guest, but as a child coming home. Abiding is not a task. It is a state of being. It is the art of staying, not rushing ahead, not shrinking back, just staying. And I want to stay here, Lord. Not just for a moment, not just for this prayer, but always. I want to abide, to make my dwelling in you, and let you make your dwelling in me. Because outside of you I am scattered, but with you I am whole. Outside of you I strive, but in you I rest. Outside of you I am anxious and hurried, but in you I am still and safe. So I settle in again. I let the day go, I let the striving go, I let the questions fall away, and I just breathe in your nearness. You are here, not symbolically, not abstractly, truly, tangibly. You are closer than the air in my lungs, closer than the thoughts in my mind. You are not waiting for me to reach a spiritual high. You are waiting for me to be still, to recognize what's always been true. You have never left. You are the vine. I am the branch. And as long as I remain in you, I live. I bear fruit, even in the quiet seasons. I grow even when I feel dormant. Because connection is not based on performance, it's based on presence. And your presence is never in short supply. So I don't reach for more of you, I rest in all of you. I let you fill every empty space, every weary corner, every anxious pause between heartbeats. You inhabit all of it, and you ask nothing more of me but to stay. Stay close, stay honest, stay surrendered. Not because you'll leave if I don't, but because I lose my peace when I drift. So I come back again. I return to the vine. I let my soul drink deep. You are my source, not just of strength, but of identity. Not just of hope, but of holiness. Not just of power, but of peace. Everything I need flows from you, and everything I long for is found in you. Not in success, not in resolution, not even in answers, just in you. So I make this space sacred, not because of music, not because of ritual, but because of your presence. And you are here, right here, in the breath I just took, in the silence between thoughts, in the warmth I feel when I stop trying to impress you. You were never asking for performance. You were always offering presence. So I lay down the act. I lay down the need to feel spiritual enough. I lay down the guilt that says I haven't prayed right, and I simply abide. I stay, like Mary at your feet, like the disciple leaning against your chest, like a child falling asleep in the arms of her father. I stay, and in staying, I remember who I am. not the roles I play, not the masks I wear, just yours. And that is enough. Your presence is enough. It satisfies the hunger I didn't know I had. It fills the ache I couldn't name. It anchors me when the world spins too fast. I don't need to do anything else tonight. I just need to be with you, to let you be the center again, to let your presence soften what's hard in me, quiet what's loud, heal what's bruised. And you do, without force, without fanfare. You meet me here again, and I realize I was never waiting for you. You were waiting for me to notice you were already here. So I stay, I linger, I listen, not for thunder or fire, but for the still small voice. And it says, beloved. It says, mine. It says, I'm here. And that is enough. Be still. That's all you ask of me right now. Not to fix, not to explain, not to prove or perform. Just be still and know. Not guess, not wish, not try to force belief, but to know. To know that you are God. Not just in theory, not just when the sun is shining, but right now, in the dark, in the hush of night, in the breath between burdens. You are God. You are sovereign. You are still on the throne. And I am still yours. I let the stillness wash over me now. I release the compulsion to fill silence with words. I release the pressure to feel something emotional. I release the noise, not only around me but within me. I let the thoughts go, one by one, like leaves floating down a stream. Worries about tomorrow, questions that remain unanswered, fears I tried to suppress. They all pass, they all fall away. And what's left is this stillness, sacred, safe, holy. It's not empty, it's full of you. This stillness is not absence, it's presence. Your presence, thick and gentle, near and kind. You are not just the God of fire and miracles, you are the God of stillness and breath. And in this quiet, I find you again. Not because you were far, but because I was too busy to notice. So I notice now. I become aware again of the rhythm of my breath, of the softness of your nearness, of the quiet pulse of grace surrounding me like air. This is holy ground. Not because of loud worship or dramatic moments, but because of quiet surrender. This is the place where striving ends. This is the place where my heart finds rest, where I stop talking long enough to listen, where I stop running long enough to lean. You say be still not as a suggestion, but as an invitation to trust, to let go, to remember that you are God, and I am not. And in that remembering, peace returns. You are the one who parts seas with a word, who raises the dead with a whisper, who calms storms with a breath. And if you can do all that, you can hold me tonight. You can handle what I cannot. You can guide what I can't see. You can heal what I don't even have the words to describe. So I stop reaching, stop pushing, stop striving. And I just receive. I receive your stillness. I receive your peace. I receive the calm that doesn't require understanding. I don't need to feel strong right now. I don't need to have it all together. I don't need to carry this weight into sleep. You never asked me to. You only asked me to trust you enough to set it down. So I do. Gently, deliberately. I lay it all down at your feet. And I lie down with you beside me, not in fear of what I left undone, not in panic over what's coming, but in stillness, because you are still God, still good, still near, still working, still speaking, even in silence. You speak in the quiet, you lead in the stillness, you restore in the pause, and you protect what I place in your hands. So I place myself there now, my body, my thoughts, my heart, my sleep. It's all yours, and I will not be shaken, because you are with me, even now, especially now, in this sacred stillness. I am at peace.